So when you have a musical daughter, you want to document beautiful moments such as these to help keep that story alive in the family. Long after the memory may have passed, we tend to say, oh, I'm going to remember this and I'm never going to forget. And then as time passes, we forget. But when we actually create something that documents that moment in time, we can keep that story alive to tell the story. Come along with me as I show you how to create this beautiful storytelling scrapbook page. I'm starting out with this cardstock warehouse Colorplan bright white 100-pound cover. I got 12 by 12 because I thought I was going to be making a 12 by 12 shadow box, but it turns out that I actually purchased an 11 by 14. So I'll be trimming this paper down. So I've trimmed my paper to 8.5 by 11, and I want to center or work all the designs around this particular photo. So let's get started. So pulling from the colors that are in the photo, I'm going to introduce 3 more papers, and we're going to use Claret. This is by Colorplan. This is all cover stock, Kraft gray, and Materica Ardesia. And what I'm going to do is triple matte this photo. Okay, so I'm going to be trimming all of these down to triple matte the photo. So the first matte is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. The next one is the Kraft gray, and that's 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. And the Claret is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And I'll get those adhered down with some Barely Arts Precision craft glue. And here we have it, all layered. Love that. And this is what it looks like so far. Next, I'm going to add some layering pieces, and I'll start off with the musical notes 3D embossing folder by Spellbinders, and I'm going to do that on the Kraft gray. It looks so wonderful. I love all the texture that this has. It's so beautiful. And look at the impression on that. Oh my gosh. Isn't that beautiful? So what I plan to do is turn the musical notes landscape rather than portrait and kind of have it coming out that way. And I'll pop this up on some foam tape for some dimension. But my daughter plays the flute, so I thought that the musical notes would be a wonderful way to kind of help tell that story. Actually, I think I'm going to turn it around because I like that orientation better. I like the treble clef showing on this corner in that orientation. So I have some ephemera pieces that I've just loved ever since I found them. They're, I believe, Tim Holtz little ephemera pieces, and they're kind of like transparency. So I just kind of tucked them in places where I thought that they might look really nice. And I really love how they bring out the colors in the photo. And this little bird, so beautiful. Love how it matches the pillows. And every morning when I go outside to take my kids to the bus stop for school, the birds just sing so beautifully, and it's such a cheerful sound. And I just feel like, they sing music and my daughter plays music. So again, just finding little elements to help tell this little story. And then next I have, well, let me show you what I'll be doing. So I have these dies that are by Sizzix, and their little tag and ribbon shapes. So I'm going to use a couple of them, this one and this one, on the black Materica paper, Ardesia paper, to create some tags for a little bit of journaling. So while I was at it, I ended up cutting out 2 of these tags as well using the Claret. I have these, and now let me bring my layout back and figure out what I want to do with these. I know I needed something there, so that was one of the reasons why I cut out this tag. But I also feel like maybe tucking, and it's not glued down yet, so it's going to move. Okay, so getting a little, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it hanging out or scoot it in, but I like that. We've got also some different shapes, and maybe one here, something like that. All right, so now I have a tentative layout, and what I think I'll do also is take a picture of it, and that way if I need to refer to this particular layout, I won't forget where everything is. So to kind of fill in this little spot here underneath and to add a little layering, I think what I'm going to do is introduce a stamp. This is backwards, so you can't see it that way, but I'll introduce a stamp and do some stamping down here. And I want to do that elsewhere, so I might do a little stamping on the tags to just kind of tie everything together and make it cohesive. So I have a little clear acetate sheet here, and that'll help to protect my surface. Although this is a glass board and it should be fairly easy to wipe up, but I think this will be a little easier to work on. And I'll put my, well, actually I won't be stamping on those. I'll be stamping on the other tags. So I'll stamp these first. I'll peel my clingy stamp off and I'll place it on this acrylic block. And let's see. I kind of like this part here where the music is most prominent. So I'm going to use this Tim Holtz Distress Oxide Vintage Photo shade and add the ink to my stamp. Just going to kind of go around a couple times to make sure I've inked it all. And I'm going to take my block, turn it over. Let's scoot these over to the middle. Right about there. Okay. Interesting that that top part created a little impression. I didn't have any ink there, but nevertheless. All right, so while I still have my tentative layout here, I'll scoot this up underneath. Let me move these out of the way. All right. Scoot that there. And I know that some of the ink has been used, and it's okay. I kind of actually like that look where some of it won't be as dark. And I did not get a good impression. I didn't press it down hard enough. Let's scoot that up and let me try once again. Let's see if I can line this up. All right, there we go. So remember, this is going to be covering, so I actually really like that look where it's darker over here than here. So I toyed around with the idea of using a photo corner shaper to add some shape to the transparency ephemera. But I think what I'm going to do instead is use photo corners. Also, to add a little bit more texture and visual interest, I have some embossing thread, Altenew embossing thread, and I'm going to lace those through the holes of the tag, of both tags. I was trying to search for a phrase to tie all of this together, which would be I guess you would say the title of the journal page or scrapbook page. So I'm going to hot foil The Sound of Music on here. I happen to think about how much my daughter loves that movie, The Sound of Music, and I think it's really appropriate to really tie everything together and tell a complete story. So I've adhered foam tape to all of this, and I went ahead and glued these pieces down so that all I would have to do is do that. Voila, we have our finished page. Actually, I forgot one more thing that I want to add, and that is a little bit of bling. I am a glam girl, and I do have, I don't know if we noticed this before, but I had foiled this previously. So it says November 2025, that's when the picture is taken, so that I can document her age. Later on, we'll look back on this moment and smile. And I'm just going to use my little Kraft picker-upper here. Let's see if I can get it working properly on camera. It works well when I'm not on camera. But when I am on camera, it sometimes doesn't want to function correctly. Let's see. Let's put that about there. And I have some smaller ones. So maybe add that there. I'm just kind of randomly placing, oh goodness. See, this is what I'm talking, okay, there we go. Randomly placing them just kind of as my eye sees fit, where they should go. So there's no, rhyme or rhythm, except I will say that odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye. So far we have 5. See, here we go. Doesn't want to behave, but that's okay. We'll work around it. What did I tell you? Just because I'm on camera, it does not want to behave and cooperate. So now we've got 7. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. And all right. Now for the fiesta resista, as they say. This is the piece that it will be going onto inside of the frame. And it came with those lovely pins. So I'm just going to pin each corner down. So here is the finished piece, and I'm just going to pop that inside of the frame. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? I love that so much. Can't wait to hang this on my wall. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you feel inspired to make something beautiful.